What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Elementary Season 6, Episode 10. Really? Really? You guys are just playing with me now on these freaking titles. The Adventures of the Ersatz Sobekneferu. Sobekneferu doesn't even fit. I'm on Hulu right now. It doesn't even fit. It cuts off at Sobe. It looks like the Adventures of the Ersatz Sobe. I'm like, what is this, Sobe Noodles? And I had to look it up on IMDb to figure out what the rest of it was. Anyways, aside from the name, I really like this episode. I mean, it was really interesting. So it does seem that Minecraft is gone, and I talked about, at the end of the last episode, how I wouldn't necessarily like how they just sort of ended it off. But like I said, maybe they couldn't get the actor back. Don't know the whole story about it. Um, but I would have liked to see him come back, and I was really hoping that this was going to be like a faking of his death. But the fact that Moreland comes in kind of confirms more than likely this is real. I have no doubt that Mycroft could very easily fake his death, but I doubt that he would be able to fool Moreland into thinking he was dead. If he's able to do that, then wow, he's really good. But no, Moreland does come back. I love seeing John Noble anytime he gets a chance to be on screen, so I had no problem with this. But yeah, we get to see a little bit more about kind of what he's doing right now, still heading up the organization that Moriarty was a part of, trying to take it down, but he's unable to completely tear it down yet, which kind of makes sense, but at the same time also like it's it's something that I wish was more complex. I think I talked about this whenever the season with him happened. I want his story to be more complex. I want it to be more than just, oh, I'm trying to take down the organization from the inside. I want it to be like you don't know if you can trust him or not, but everything that I'm seeing makes me feel like, no, you can trust him. He is trying his best. Like, the fact that he's not completely torn it down yet, normally, in any other show, I'd be like, I wonder if maybe he's just trying to fake this, trying to fool Sherlock into thinking, oh, he's just going to take it down from the inside. When in reality, he's just like, no, I'm going to make money off of this. I want to make money, so this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to pretend, I'm going to tell my son who wants me to destroy this organization that that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to just sort of knock off a few projects here and there, but for the most part, keep it running because I still want to make money off of this. Like, I want that to be the case, but I really doubt that this show just doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like something they would do for this show. And everything that I've seen with all the episodes that he was in doesn't make me think that that's a possibility. Um, but everything to do with his side of the story was very interesting. We see a guy tracking him, apparently trying to kill him. It was interesting. Sherlock kind of threw out there the possibility, like, did Mycroft get killed by this guy? Because apparently he's in the habit of making people look like they died of natural causes, and that's what they said happened to Mycroft. But he claimed he had nothing to do with it. So it's looking like it could just actually be Mycroft died of natural causes, which would be, again, kind of a weird death for such a big character to happen off screen, natural causes, he's done. But this guy apparently is so scared of whoever he's working for, he just jumps out the window. Moreland thinks it's Moriarty. They could be teasing her return. I mean, that would be pretty interesting, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Just because they brought it up so early, this idea of, oh, Moriarty's return. I don't know. Normally, they wouldn't bring up the truth this early on, especially if they're trying to build up to some sort of plot twist at who's involved. I don't know who it could be. We've not really, I don't think we've really met anybody else that it could be, but we'll see what happens with it. I'm intrigued, though. I want to see where the story is going. I want to see who is trying to take out Moreland, or is it Moriarty trying to get her empire back, or is it somebody else who just wants to see him out of the way? So I'm really curious. I want to see what happens next. As far as the case for this episode is concerned, pretty straightforward. Again, it feels like there's a lot going on that doesn't need to be. Like, if you take out the entirety of the Theban storyline, this could be an interesting story. But the fact of the matter is, they threw in this whole, like, it starts with the Theban. It starts with she looks like she is being embalmed by this guy, which I figured out his identity pretty early on based on the way he was acting whenever they were talking to him about this whole thing. I pretty much figured out he was the Theban. But what was weird about it is that that was kind of thrown to the side once they realized what she was doing with the book. All of a sudden, that became the main focus. And then they realized, oh wait, we found out who the Theban is, but he's dead. He got shot, which means it's back to the Van Foe stuff. I feel like there's too much going on in some of these cases. And again, it's my personal opinion, but you could cut out the entirety of the Theban storyline. You could make where she just got killed by this guy who was hired by somebody else, and it's all about Van Foe. It's the fact that she was trying to expose him. Why was she trying to expose him? Well, you find out about her writing the book, and you find out it's her father, and you find out she wants him to get the credit he deserves. But then you find out, oh wait, if that happens, then whoever's been selling his works could be in trouble, and that's how you find the bad guy. And it could be shortened, or either that, or you could add more steps into finding it. You could add more moments where we actually see them figuring stuff out. Instead, you have to cut so much because you have so much in the story that we don't get to see them realizing, oh wait, when they talk to the guy apparently about his contacts, they find out that the I don't remember what he owned. I want to say he was like like a gallery owner, but the guy that Misha was working for, they pretty much find out he was one of the contacts that was selling Van Foe's paintings. Well, basically, you go from we need to talk to was it Jasper? Jasper Wells? I think that's what his name was. Which, by the way, also Sutton Ross from The Blacklist. I love seeing some of these actors go between these shows, and it's in such a short frame of time too. I'm like, man, this guy's been busy. But yeah, we see them go into the room because Marcus is like, we need to talk to him about his what's the word I'm looking for? Contacts. We need to talk to him about his contacts. Next scene with him, we see Jasper talking to a guy off screen, and then in walks this guy who he met earlier in the case, and he's talking about buying up these 3 paintings or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, so he's the bad guy. I kind of want to see more build up to that. I don't want it to just be, okay, let's talk to him about his contacts. Next scene, we're arresting the guy for it. It happens too many times. I want to be more involved in that, and if they could cut down on some of what they're adding to these stories, I think you could make time for that. But as it is, they just have so much going on that, yeah, you feel like you have to make that jump cut, because if you don't, it's too much time. But again, you don't need to have all of this story stuff. So that's just how I feel about it. I'm kind of curious to see where this Moreland stuff goes. Also, the fact that Michael is still out there. Still don't know what's going on with his story, exactly why he is the way he is. I was assuming we were going to find out more about him, but now it seems like it's taking a detour into this whole Moriarty versus Moreland thing. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Just the cases could use some work, in my opinion. But anyways, that's it for this episode. So now on to the next one. See you in a sec. Now episode 11. You've come a long way, baby. So this was a pretty good one as far as the case is concerned. Didn't feel like there were too many moving pieces, too many extra parts to it. It just felt like it stayed focused on what it needed to, which is this ATF operation and the different pieces involved. So for the most part, I mean, I enjoyed it. I did think the one scene where it showed the lady open up her laptop to show the 2 bulldogs, I'm like, okay, so clearly that's going to be a clue later. Like, come on. It wasn't just like oh, she's got bulldogs. Oh, those are cute. No, it was like you held on it for a good 3 seconds, and Joan made the comment, oh, you've got those bulldogs. You seem to really love bulldogs, don't you? Looks right at the camera. Like, God. So that scene was a little weird. But aside from that, the case itself was fine. As far as the outside story with Sherlock and Moreland and Moriarty, I like what they're setting up, because we do see Sherlock finds this cafe where apparently Moriarty is the owner, and the people there are working for her. I did like the fact that the bar or the barista, I don't know if she's actually a barista. Anyway, the girl that was at the bar whenever he knocks off the thing, like, she really did seem like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden she shows up at his door. I'm like, okay, I like that. That's good. But yeah, don't really know everything going on with that. We do see Sherlock says, I'd like to discuss with you, like, I know Moriarty's trying to kill my father. I'd like to discuss with you helping with that. But then at the end, he says that they reached an armistice that, no, both sides would be at peace because, if she did manage to kill Moreland, then Sherlock would step into his place and take over Moriarty's organization, until his father dies of old age. Which, I don't know if that's true based on, how the conversation with the girl ended in that scene. I'm not sure if that's true. It could be. It could be that's what he meant by I'd like to discuss helping. Like, oh, he's going to die of old age pretty soon, so just wait until then, and then we can discuss this again. But what his dad was saying to him at the end, talking about how you just staved off the inevitable, saying that he'll have to deal with this problem eventually, but when he does, now that he's set these terms in, now he's going to have to do it without his help. And he's like, as it should be. It almost feels like this is the end game. The end game is going to be this battle with Moriarty, whether it's battling for control of this organization or just battling her and the organization because she just takes over once Moreland dies. I don't know. I'm really, really excited, though, because it feels like they're building this up. Like, this is going to be possibly even next season, the last season of Elementary. This is going to be the story, is Sherlock versus Moriarty. Don't know for sure. I'm excited to see where it goes, though. This seems to be the end of Moreland's story for now. Like, it just kind of pops up, and now it's resolved itself for now. So that's why I kind of feel like they're building it up for later, is how this ended for this episode. So yeah, I'm very curious to see where it goes. Aside from that, not much else to talk about. An enjoyable episode. So good to have that, especially after some of these cases I felt very bloated and all over the place. This one felt a lot more centered, and I like that. So anyways, that's it for this episode. Now on to the next one. See you there. Now episode 12, Meet Your Maker. So first of all, two scenes that I want to just go ahead and bring up right away, because two best scenes in the entire episode. First of all, funniest scene. The visual gag of Watson telling Holmes, oh, so should we go dressed up in costume? And then the pan in, and you see them dressed up in costume. You see Joan looks like she's dressed in like a Sherlock with like the I don't even know what type of hat, but it's like, the plaid get-up, the plaid Sherlock get-up. And then Sherlock looks like he's dressed up in the Watson get-up. And then the camera pans around, and it's not them. That was perfect. I was already laughing from the idea of them dressing up as their counterpart. And then when you show me that it's not even them, it's just two people dressed up like that. It was perfect. Like, what they were going for. That they were trying to fool you into thinking, oh, look, guys, they did dress up just as each other. Just not them. So, anyways. But the other scene that I wanted to talk about, because literally just the perfect scene to exemplify why this episode works compared to the episode where Joan was talking about getting, adopting the baby. I talked about how there are moments whenever Sherlock feels too human for Sherlock. It feels like he's making decisions that make sense, not just in a logical sense, but socially. And he's not supposed to understand social cues. He's considered a sociopath, So that's why I was so frustrated with that episode. In this one, perfect example, he's the one that puts in Bell's name, Marcus's name, to the Marshal Service. It makes sense. Sure, it's a selfless thing for Sherlock to do, but for him, it makes sense because anybody he considers a friend, he doesn't mind helping out. What wouldn't have made sense is if the marshals came to him and said, hey, do you think Marcus Bell would be a good fit? And he said no because he wants Marcus to stay. That wouldn't make any sense because it would be a socially acceptable thing to do because, oh, I don't want my friend to leave. But if they came knocking and asked, logically, Marcus is the perfect fit. He went through every little bit of why he chose the Marshal Service. He explained why he thought Marcus should take the next step. Like, he did it for him, but he did it, and it made logical sense to him why Marcus should leave. And you could even see, like, at the end of the episode, whenever Marcus steps out after he said he was going to accept it, he almost had, like, a confused look on his face, and I'm willing to bet it's because, for him, he's like, wait, why do I feel a little sad? because he doesn't understand why anybody would be sad about Marcus leaving. Joan even says it at one point. She's like, I'd be sad if Marcus left us, but it makes sense. Most people would feel that way. It's like, man, it would suck if you left, but it's a great opportunity. I'm happy for you, but it hurts me that you have to leave. But Sherlock wouldn't understand that, which is why he's so willingly ready to put Marcus in the running for this, to give him this opportunity. So God, it was so perfect to just counteract what I talked about in that other episode. Why that episode didn't work. Why his insistence that Joan be able to adopt the baby and him saying, "Oh yeah, I'll move out. It's fine." Yeah, that's socially acceptable. He shouldn't know that though. He shouldn't realize, like, logically, he would look at this as an experiment opportunity. He would look at this as a chance for them to, okay, what does this baby mean? How can I use this? How can we, what will be the point of this? How would we be able to benefit? But for him to look like he socially understands what's going on and kind of emotionally feel what's going on, it didn't fit. So I don't know, just that scene, it was so perfect. Whenever they were going through it, whenever they were in the office and Belle was talking to him about it, I was just like, thank you. Like, this is exactly, it doesn't change the fact that they made that mistake a few episodes ago, but it is nice that it's like, okay, so you do understand it. Like, at least you show you understand it. Now just stop making those mistakes. Stop doing things like that episode where you make Sherlock a different character just to fit the story. So anyways, aside from that, the case in general was fairly uneventful. Kind of interesting at first. I expected to see the guy that asked Joan for help by the end of the episode getting a chance to sort of see Maria and be like, hey, it's great to finally meet you, or, something along those lines where they get to reconnect and he gets to be there just seeing that she's okay. I get the fact that it would be a little bit weird considering what they were into. But the fact remains, he still said, no, but she still is a friend. Even if they are into the financial dominatrix thing, they're still friends. Like, he talked about that. He was very apparent about that after, they confronted him about what he was doing. And so I would have liked just for him to have a moment with her, because, yeah, sometimes people get into weird things, but at the end of the day, people are still human. I'm not gonna kink shame or anything, but I don't know. I would have liked a moment for that, because it felt like he was there to set them on the case. They brought him back to talk to him about the fact that he was into that, and that makes him look suspicious. And then we didn't hear from him the rest of the episode, and I was a little disappointed by that. But also just, I don't know, it felt kind of a little too easy, like they just search for this one guy, they find him, search for this other guy, they find him, and then they find out what exactly happened to, Roman, the boyfriend, and then they search into what they're dealing with, and then all of a sudden, like, this other, I guess, another district of police, they end up tracking down the guy who's, I guess, in charge of selling the guns, and it ends up bad, like, they end up killing him. And so it's kind of like, oh, wow, that's going to make it difficult to figure out what's going to happen next. No, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. You guys know what I'm talking about. But, it was really easy, though, after that. Like, they talked about, like, oh, this is a big deal. Like, we just lost our only chance to go find him. But then all of a sudden, next scene, you see Sherlock's just like, oh, no, we still have another way to do it. Like, he sees the tattoos, and he's like, oh, yeah, this other guy, the brother, or Maria's brother, he's a part of the same gang. And then boom, 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 they find him. Without even any sort of, like, we don't get to see them getting Maria and Roman back. They're in the hospital the next scene. Roman didn't even get cast, I don't think. There was no actor that played Roman. He was always off screen. I was like, oh, okay. Well then. So I don't know, it just seemed like it wrapped up a little too easily. Like, it just didn't seem to be anything that stopped them along the way. They just boom, 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 and it was done. And most of the time, I've talked about how some of these episodes have felt a little too complex and cluttered. This one felt like it went the opposite direction. It was a little too simple. Even when they hit the one roadblock that they did, easily overcome, and they solved the next part. So, I don't know, they just can't seem to hit the right balance on the case for me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal thing. Maybe I'm expecting something that I shouldn't be expecting. But that's just how I feel. And that's what these videos are for. I talk about how I feel about it. I can't think of anything else, though. That was pretty much all for this episode. So, yeah. about halfway, well, a little over halfway through the season, so I feel like doing pretty well to get this wrapped up. I feel like they're gonna really set up for the last season though, and I'm gonna want to watch the last season. But I do also have other shows I need to get to. So, but anyways, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 3 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Elementary reviews, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace out.